Yet another store closure in San Francisco. Are you shocked? No, neither am I. Safeway in San Francisco's Filmore to close after 40 years. Now, Safeway says, hey, it's giving you more housing because it's a multi-acre parcel. It's going to be developed into some more housing. San Fran needs more housing. But the bottom line is that their corporate said, well, this wasn't meeting our financial expectations, meaning it was being robbed blind. Let's get into it. Here we go.
It is the only Safeway grocery store in San Francisco's Filmore district, and after 40 years, it's closing. Safeway says it expects to shutter the building in early March, and that'll leave some customers disappointed and looking for a new place to get their groceries. Here's NBC Barry's Christy Smith.
The Safeway grocery store in the Filmore district will be closing its doors after serving the neighborhood for 40 years.
I'm from the adjacent neighborhood that's going to lose out on this.
For years, 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗏𝗧𝗏 has shopped for groceries here. He's disappointed that will be changing as early as March.
I can't pay regular prices. I'm on food stamps. And this is the place where I come to. This is my go-to place two times a week. And that other one got closed. I don't want to go to the cash store. I don't want to be stuck having one place to go to. So, yeah, I really wish that they wouldn't close this place down.
The nearest Safeway would be in the Castro, just over a mile away. In a statement, Safeway said in part, Safeway recently entered into an agreement to sell 3.68 acres of land at Webster Plaza in the Filmore district of San Francisco to Align Real Estate, who will pursue a mixed-use development project to include housing and commercial retail space. Safeway says it sees this as an opportunity to be part of the solution to bring much-needed housing to the city. But some customers see it this way.
I think it's more the theft that's going on in the stores. You know, it's rampant over here.
Some took note of the security measures in place. Meantime, customers are wondering where they will shop moving forward and what impact the closure will have.
I think it's horrible. So many people around here need this grocery store. So many people need this grocery store in this neighborhood. So it's really sad.
Supervisor Dean Preston said in a statement he's extremely concerned with the potential loss of the grocery store in the neighborhood. He says he welcomes housing development on the lot, but doesn't think it should be an either-or situation. So his office has reached out to Safeway and the developers to try to include a store in the new plans. Meantime, Mayor London Breed says the plan is a real and rare opportunity to add homes and pointed out there's a Trader Joe's opening nearby and an opportunity for a new market on site. In San Francisco, Christy Smith, NBC Bay Area News.
You always want to feel sorry for the people of the community that it's impacting, especially the elderly and handicapped and whoever can't get around. But the real issue is that the reason you don't have a store in your community is because you voted in policy. The majority of folks in California, specifically in San Francisco, voted in policy that allowed rampant shoplifting to take place. So till you get, things kind of wrapped up as far as that regards go, and this whole progressive notion of, so much progress going on here in Cali, that is what is shutting down these stores because they're shoplifting left and right. And what you didn't see in that quick little NBC report was that this Safeway has gone through the gauntlet of what happens before a store gets shut down. And it wasn't that there were safety issues that they mentioned, although, in the Filmore district, you're going to have some 911 calls if you're a Safeway. There's going to be people doing shenanigans in the restaurant. There's going to be, all that good stuff. Same reasons Whole Food closed down, but different reason because this is in a different type location, but it's San Francisco. So you've still got the shoplifting from those who are looking to get their next hit and they want to sell goods. And so you've got all kinds of preventative measures that have happened here. Sure, the store hours have closed. They've got one of those police pole things that goes up in the parking lot. Does that do any good at all? You probably know what I'm talking about. I see more and more of those here in Bellevue, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. Because when you got one of those, it's like, all right, there's activity here that is shenanigans, trying to keep our businesses safe from that. But bottom line is, you got a bunch of people stealing from the store left and right. And when Safeway gets an opportunity, we can exit that location. Let's do it. And let's spin it as, hey, this is going to be sold and redeveloped into more housing. You've been asking for more affordable housing. We're giving it to you. Safeway, we're doing a good deed here. We're giving it to you. Safeway grocery store in San Fran closing after 40 years. Safeway says it expects to close in early March, leaving some people surprised and disappointed. Not always the case. You got another one in the Castro neighborhood, just over a mile away. Puts it in this, not in a food desert, but the residents are like, hey, our options are kind of limited. But you got a Trader Joe's going in, and Trader Joe's from originally their first store was in San Francisco, so I think it was in San Francisco. You got that whole history. All right, so you're losing a Safeway. That sucks. Probably because the folks that they always interview live right there. I don't want to have to commute a mile away. I don't want to do that. I get it. But recognize that it's policy that you might well have enacted that has created a situation where Safeway just says, oh, we're out of here. Yes. Where do we sign? Okay. Yep. Sign. Away you go. Safeway in a statement said in part, Safeway recently entered into an agreement to sell 3.6, Filmore District, line real estate, mixed use development, housing, commercial real estate space. That's what it comes down to, right? That's the bottom line. The company sees the change as an opportunity. Love that opportunity. Be part of a solution to bring much needed housing to the city. Not only a solution for much needed housing to the city, this housing isn't going to be cheap, right? I mean, so it's like, okay, really? But more importantly, an opportunity to Safeway that they can get the F out of Dodge because they're getting robbed blind. That's unfortunately the way that it goes. Yeah, I think it's more, this is the young lady we saw. I think it's more the theft that's going on in the stores. What it always comes down to. And I also read another indication that the store was not meeting its financial expectations. Meaning it sounds like it had plenty of people shopping there. Plenty of people shopping there because it's in demand, but also had plenty of people shoplifting there, that old 5-finger discount, right? Some also took note of the security measures in place at the grocery store. Now we're getting down to brass tacks, aren't we? Meantime, but then we're just going to ignore that. I don't know why the security measures were there. They're just there. And we got this one lady who's just a one-off saying, rampant theft. Meantime, customers are wondering where they will shop moving forward and what impact the closure will have. Well, you're going to get into a food desert at some point if you keep enacting these laws like Proposition 47 that allow people to just steal stuff willy-nilly, and claim that you're going to, we're going to get more people into treatment because of this. It's like, okay, how's that working out? How are all the closures working out? How's that all going? Another major clothing store closed down in Union Square in San Francisco. I want to say it was not Abercrombie. They said it was wedged in between Abercrombie and Victoria's Secret. A store like that. We closed down. Can't make a go of it. Well, that mall at Union Square is just decimated anyway. So it doesn't surprise me, but that was another more recent store. Yep, we're out of here. San Francisco Supervisor Dean Preston, he is taking his high horse and he's going on this campaign to basically beg Safeway to stop this process. You know what? That's just virtue signaling. You're not going to get anywhere with that kind of thing. Safeway said, we're selling it. You guys are going to get some more housing. It's a win-win. But Dean Preston knows the big issue is the store is being robbed blind by his constituents. This is his district, right? Preston said he welcomes the housing development on the lot, but does not think it should be an either or. Well, maybe it won't be by the time it's developed. But for now, closed. And it's being redeveloped. So it's not like they're taking that building and they're just making it into, let's make it into a nursery. Let's make this into a mini Home Depot. Preston's office has reached out to Safeway and the developers to try and include a store in the new plans. Good luck there, prison for Preston. This guy. Mayor London Breed, all right, said the plan is a real and rare opportunity to add homes. You just can't shop there for food. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Reed also pointed out there is a Trader Joe's. Okay, we're always pointing to the glass half full, not half empty, except for the people that, shop nearby. This bad boy is empty. It is not coming back. All right, let's take another couple. It's not fair. San Francisco residents' leaders call for troubled Safeway to remain open. So you've got this whole narrative. This entire article is just a big woe is me. Hey, we had $5 Fridays as the Webster Street Safeway. We had that, but now we don't. How many working mothers feel like sweating over a hot stove on a Friday? I get it. This is where you went for that food. But this is also where the drug addicts went to steal said food and sell it to get their next hit of fentanyl. So there's that, right? And they're able and willing to do that because they know that if they get busted, it's not going to be a felony. They're not going to do any time. They might get a parking ticket. Something as simple as that, right? So this article is just like, the people that it impacts. Yes. Like this guy here, he's lived in the Freedom West Co-op for 50 years. This is where he goes. Now his life is going to be rocked. But unfortunately, at some point in time, he probably voted for some of the stuff that's allowed this situation to take place and, come down in large scale in San Francisco. This is not the only food store that's going away. This is not the only business that's leaving. So let's check out from the San Francisco Standard. San Francisco is losing another Safeway. Here's why. All right. Tell us, Joel Umanzor. Let's see what you got. Employees at the Safeway, they were notified and you're going to sell it to a developer, entered into an agreement, Align Real Estate, developer, yada, yada. We've already heard of that. Been part of another interesting point. This has been part of a historically black neighborhood for the better part of 4 decades. It doesn't matter what the racial makeup of the community is. If corporate says, no dice, we're out of here. We got an opportunity to make some money. You guys get some housing, but more importantly, we get the F out of here. That's the end goal here, right? But employees will be reassigned to other stores. We hate to close this store, but please shop it with us online or go to other stores in the community. So we got some justification for Mayor London Breed, housing coming in. Supervisor Dean Preston represents told of the sale Webster. He's extremely concerned and upset. Breed pointed to the Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's expecting to open up in a couple of months. So as in recent years, here's the real thing. Filmore District Safeway store that's slated to close has in recent years become a focal point for problems that have plagued the neighborhood. Period. In December 2022, local community members gathered for a town hall meeting calling for more San Francisco police in the neighborhood. They want more cops. Defund the police? No, not anymore. We want more police. The area around the Webster Street parking lot was dubbed Ground Zero for activity from cars blasting music to drug dealers harassing shoppers in conditions like human feces in the parking lot and syringes in planters. In June 2023, the store briefly began playing intermittent classical music on loudspeakers at all hours of the day in the parking lot in an effort to deter loitering. We talked about that. And we've talked about so many different stores coming up with so many different things. You don't blast classical music on the loudspeakers unless you've got a real issue of shenanigans going on in the parking lot, right? And, so many stores have, all right, let's get out the machine that makes really loud noises but they're ultrasonic because only the dogs can hear it. That's something that folks close to illegal homeless encampments, they employ because it drives the dogs crazy. And the homeless encampments invariably have dogs living with them because they act as not only, friends and companions, man's best friend, but they act as, let's be honest, protection from other people trying to jack their stuff. So you've got all kinds of things going on. Loudspeakers, what do we have? Sprinkler systems, one guy at 7-Eleven pouring motor oil on the kind of the brick area out in front. Yep. We don't want people sitting down. If they do, they're going to get real messy with motor oil. I mean, that's a harsh way to go about it. But so much has been done by these store owners and managers and shopkeepers to try and keep this element, because it doesn't, the needles and the human feces and then the loitering about and the drug dealers, that doesn't exactly say, hey, come shop at this Safeway. There's just so much more that isn't focused on by major media, right? Safeway was just, they were pumped. They were excited to get rid of this site. Oh, we get to sell that one, and we can spin the narrative as, hey, more housing for everybody. It's a win-win. 2 thumbs up. Get the F out of Dodge. This site has sucked. That's what corporate's thinking, because they just want to get rid of a problem. And, this works. So prison for Preston, Supervisor Preston, all of this stuff is happening on his watch, right? It's because folks within his district have voted for all this stuff, along with a lot of other people in California. And this is what you get. You lose your grocery store. You lose your main grocery store. Period. That's kind of fallout from, years and years and years and years of terrible policy. I had a good friend yesterday, last night, text me and say, actually a wife of my really good friend from high school, say, hey, I was in Capitol Hill. We had some people, they were like all bent over and doing drugs, and they had the tinfoil out and they had the needles out. I was walking a gauntlet going into the QFC in Capitol Hill. And I'm like, yeah, Capitol Hill is, and she knows that I podcast. I said, I don't think she follows my podcast, but it's not for everybody, right? It's for reasonable people. Not saying she's not reasonable. It's just not everybody's cup of tea. Also had somebody describe what I do as having your dad read the news. That good or is that bad? But QFC in Capitol Hill in Seattle, CHOP. It's the CHOP QFC I'm talking about. And she just said it was literally like walking the gauntlet to get into the front door. And I kind of, ran her through what the folks were doing and why they're all, hinged over and just in various states of, zombie land. And that's a real thing. And that has to do, and I explained it, hey, there's policy in Seattle that's been enacted. You let the homeless live wherever. You decriminalize drugs. Shoplifting is A-OK. It's not an issue anymore. And then you defund the police and you don't have enough cops to go around. You've got basically the perfect recipe for the very reason stores close down. And shoplifting is rampant because so many of the homeless community exclusively shoplift from stores like Safeway. And it's interesting when you look at some of the storylines on what is stolen the most. Invariably, laundry detergent. Invariably, number 2 or 3 on the list is big pieces of meat, because they know that they can sell them to restaurants and other less scrupulous, taco stands, and maybe my beloved bacon wrapped hot dog. I haven't talked about that for a while, but those guys are back in business. The Mission Street in San Francisco, the bacon wrapped hot dog vendors and all the other illegals, I think they're all back in business. We got rid of that whole thing. And yeah, we're just selling stuff, whether it's stolen, whether it's, legal, stolen, bacon wrapped hot dogs, maybe a little bit of Shigella in there. We don't really know. It's all good now. We've gone back to just the way things were. In San Francisco, that's what you're doing. But this Safeway out of there, it's because of policy that the folks that are bitching about, unfortunately, brought into place. And now things are too far gone. And what I told my friend's wife is that this is what Seattle wanted. Seattle wanted a whole bunch of people just whacked out on drugs in front of stores, because otherwise they would have done something to prevent it. They allowed it. I said, come over to Bellevue. Come over to Bellevue. We don't have any of that ridiculousness. Go to the QFC in downtown Bellevue. No can do. It's not happening there. You've got some shoplifting that happens because you got people coming in from out of area, but you don't have any homelessness because the police here basically escort people to the shelter and get them on their way, get them the help that they need, right? Whereas the super progressive cities like San Fran and Portland and Seattle, they go down these roads of, just let people do what they want, whatever they want, front of the stores, it's fine. Make the tax-paying citizens walk that gauntlet of whacked out fentanyl and heroin and, trank dope addicts that are right outside of QFC. It makes people feel very comfortable, right? No. So you got to take what the locals are saying with a grain of salt, because unfortunately, this is what they wanted. This is what they voted in, and this is what they get. But by the time they realize, oh, we're in a food desert, this isn't any good. It's just you're way too gone. You're just gone, right? And maybe this Safeway would have shut down from a development standpoint anyway. Safeway's got to make a corporate decision. But the fact that it had as much shoplifting as it did, you know damn well that just really moved things along the scale of, hey, we got an offer in on that Webster Safeway site. Oh, we did? How much? Take it. Take it. No contingencies. Take it and run, and we'll tell them, hey, you're going to get some more housing in your community. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Wild, right? If you enjoy this content, love to have you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for this video. It helps out the algorithm. It helps the channel. Thanks in advance. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.